Welcome back to the Fight Card Podcast with your host, Spider.
Hello, everybody. Spider here once again, the Fight Card Podcast. I have the same guest on the line, or on the studio right now, Aaron Suarez, man. Aaron, bro, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Man, we finished the episode earlier, and it was more Q&A, questions about, what you've done and what you've accomplished. I wanted to go back and ask you for a couple of questions from, some of the stuff you brought up, man. One of them was your fight with Dustin Poirier, man.
Yeah, man. That was an interesting fight. I think, looking back at it now, I was like, I'll probably let's go ahead and get a training camp, with him. I had just fought at 145 pounds in Austin. And then just like, hey, got to fight for you in Louisiana. I was like, all right, cool. Let's go and do it. And one of my teammates had already fought him in the amateur ranks, which was Gilbert Jimenez.
Right.
And so from there, it's kind of like, all right, cool. We have an idea of what he might do. And then went to the show and, showed up. Man, I had to weigh in at 155. I was like 152, 153 at the most. And typically with fighters, man, we'll come in, weigh in just underneath the weight limit, and then the next day we'll put on 15, 20 pounds. I didn't put any weight on, and so I came into the fight probably about 157 at best, and he was a lot bigger.
I was going to say, because on that, I mean, when I first started, like in my training, I used to go to Renegades, which you were actually involved with. But I went to Renegades and just walking around at 145 myself and looking at 145ers thinking, damn, dude, like these guys are dropping freaking 20, 30 pounds. This was back then, like 2004, 2005. But for you, I mean, cutting weight was never an option?
Let me see. No, man. Let me see. I fought at 45, 55, and 70. And then, but cutting weight, that's like, man, I would try to roughly keep myself roughly between about 10, 15 pounds from where I was at. I think ideally when I was training, it was roughly about 160 that I would be walking around at, and then everything else was just water weight, and I cut down to 55.
Skip breakfast, and you were good, man.
Yeah. So, but the one thing, even with Renegades, man, the first show I fought in, I liked it because we had the same day weigh-ins. So you'd come in, you'd weigh in, and I was saucily, he'd come around and, all right, you're going to fight this guy, you're going to fight that guy, and I think they had about maybe 3 or 4 fights already lined up. Everybody else was kind of on the undercard and just trying to make a name.
Oh, you see, and I was going to ask you because I had no idea that they were doing same day weigh-ins. I mean, that's something that in the MMA community they've talked about for years. Mm-hmm. I mean, what would you think about something like that, man? I think you would get a lot better fights. I think you would get fights that are a little bit more even and guys at their natural weight. We've had a couple of fighters, even in the big stages and probably even in the local shows that have passed out on the scale. Trying to cut that weight, and that's, dangerous.
This is very dangerous, man. You have guys that are, I have this one guy, he was like, man, I gotta lose 26 pounds before, in a month. And I'm just like, you can get it done. Right. But that's, it's not ideal. And the damage you're going to do to your organs, your kidneys and everything else, and then you're still trying to train. And then if you have to work, it's just a lot of stress on your body. And, yeah, man, I'd be all for same-day weigh-ins, but I know how much weigh-ins can probably make money for people, so. Oh,
yeah, for sure. It's a show within itself, man. I know they air it and everybody does media and whatnot. But let me ask you, I mean, I guess now, because the commission was involved back then, but, I mean, now they're a little bit more strict because.
Oh, shoot, man. Yeah, with the commission, man, let me see. My first fight, I don't remember anybody. I don't remember signing any papers. It was
just showed up,
just show up and get it going. But then after that, I mean, TDLR, they were big part of every show. They had to make sure everything was running correctly. They had to got to the point where, hey, you couldn't, are you on medical suspension? Trying to keep track of that. How much weight are you cutting? Trying to make sure that you're not going over whatever percent body weight from this time to this time. So I mean, there's a lot more eyes on it, but. I think there's other ways of just eliminating all that altogether.
For sure. You see, and for me, I mean, when I see the weigh-ins, of course, you see guys and they're like skeletons, man. I mean, it can't be good for the liver. I mean, of course, I mean, if you were to do same-day weigh-ins, I mean, look at the champions now. I mean, do you see anybody in the UFC holding the title at their weight division?
If we were to do same-day weigh-ins, you know what? I think Stylebender would. And then of course, I'm always interested in the who Dustin's going to be fighting next, right? With this, was it Charles? I think that's going to be a really good fight, man. And guys will ask me all the time, like, what do you think about him fighting? What do you think about him winning? I'm just like, good. And I'm like, I don't want to get my ass kicked for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, for sure, man.
At least, make it worth it. And so, yeah, for sure. I definitely hope, he ends up getting that title on. And I think with all the hard work that I think he will. I think he'll take it. So hopefully.
Yeah. No, we'll see, man. Because a lot of it, I'm a fan of both guys. I lean more towards Charles Oliveira.
Okay.
I'm a huge Brazilian, MMA.
Okay.
But let me ask you this, man, because unfortunately it was in August, man. We had a death here in Texas, man, and actually it was the man Saul Solis, man. He passed away due to COVID. A condolences to his family, of course. But he was the godfather of MMA.
Yeah.
He's the one that first had the cage up, and even back then with some of the guys that I was training with at Rangel Valetudo. Used to go to Corpus and fight on mats, open hand, and boxing rings were the biggest thing.
Yeah,
but he brought the cage, he basically opened the door for a lot of guys because
he really did.
That was the opportunity to get the experience and then go into the UFC back then.
Yeah, man. There was even a square cage.
Right.
Yeah, so
that was that. Yeah, a little awkward, but hey, man, it worked. Now, let me ask you, because just like with fighters, they come and go. Some people have it, some don't. Life happened, and of course you raised a family. Your family's at home, healthy, wealthy. Well, wealthy depending on how much overtime you work.
Bro, week to week.
Yeah.
Right. If I put in 2 extra hours, and hey, we can biggie size that meal.
There you go, man. Yeah. Put some cheese on that, just half and half. But man, I'm proud of you, man. It's good to see you, of course. Thank you for stopping by. Now, looking back then, we talked about some of the stuff, what you would tell yourself, like what to do. But was there ever an opportunity for you to fight somebody that you didn't take, and you're thinking, man, I wish I would have fought that guy?
Man, you know what? No, man. I was always under the impression, like, I was willing to fight anybody. From what I understand, there's some guys that just didn't want to fight me, at the time. And so that's actually where we kind of end up going around, but to other places. But I was always pretty much down to fight anybody. One guy I did want to fight, and it wasn't anything, mean or messed up, or it wasn't anything like that, but was Deuce King. Deuce King, he's up in Seguin, San Marcos, in that area, Austin now. And just because the amount of fights that he had, and I think he had the same mentality that a lot of other guys should have, is, hey, I'm going to take on anybody. Cool, like, that's a fight. Okay, good. And I think with him, you're gonna come out one way or the other, beat up, and whether you win or lose. But I think that was somebody that I would have liked to have fought back in the day.
Of course. And then the thing with that too, man, is that you test yourself. Like you said, it's nothing personal, but you want to fight people that are going to give you a challenge, make you be a lot better of a fighter, right?
Yeah.
No, now, as far as your training, back then, what was your regimen? What did you used to do? Like train, run?
Wasn't a fan of running. Still ain't. But but no, it was just really just being in the gym, and we'd go put the gi on, which again the gi I hated. But then Jamie telling us, hey, if you can do okay in the gi, not escaping out of submissions out of that, you'll be fine. When it comes to no gi, you'll be a little bit quicker as well. But we did a lot of Thai boxing, man, a lot of hitting the pads, plyometrics, push-ups, sit-ups, hitting the quite a bit, doing that in the morning, doing that in the afternoon, and then off days that we had, try to go run, do some hill sprints, and just keep it simple. But a lot of our stuff was geared into the actual gym itself, and just doing the classes and just rolling on top of MMA training and whatnot.
That was pretty much it, right?
Kind of boring. I wasn't really big into the weightlifting. Maybe some squats here and there, but everything was more geared towards what we're trying to get done.
Oh yeah, mixed martial arts, of course. Add to it. Now let me ask you. Back then, I'm sure you had what little time you had. You probably slept. But what was Aaron Suarez doing outside the gym, man?
Not much, man. Let me see. Every weekend, it seemed like maybe probably a party or so. Probably at the house. with one of the babies.
Right,
you know,
right.
Now he's he's 13, but trying to maybe take care of him. Taking him to my in-laws and picking him up from my mom's and stuff like that, and just hanging out with him. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was, or being on MySpace at the time.
There you go. Trying to change your favorite five, right?
Yeah, top. It's like I don't like him today. I'm gonna switch him over.
Bump him over, man. Now let me ask you. I mean, being a father, I mean, you have 4 kids now. If your kids were to start getting into the mixed martial arts, of course, jiu-jitsu and later on MMA, I mean, what would your thoughts be on that?
Man, it would do it. Do it. I would, give them the advice that I would want to give myself. Hey, take it serious. Show up, do what you're supposed to do, listen, ask questions. All the disciplinary things that you want to get done. But I wouldn't be against it. I would rather he didn't, but just understand. I'd let him know some of the risk. Bumps and bruises you're gonna get, the lonely times you're probably gonna have, just all the hard process.
Girlfriend, of course, right? No dating.
No girlfriend, no nothing. All the just really what the sacrifice could look like.
And of course, something like this would be geared towards anything they're doing, right? I mean, of course, they have your support.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now going back, man. I mean, of course, we talked about some of your stable mates back then, man. I mean, we had Gilbert Jimenez. Mentioned did fight Dustin Poirier. Yeah. You had Vince Lombardi, man, and that's another name I wanted to bring up. But I mean, with everybody training, I mean, of course, later on in the years, I mean, people kind of like disband and start traveling elsewhere. Yeah. Who was the one guy that you were more certain that was going to make it? I mean, who was it that you knew like they had it in them?
Oh man, well, I mean, my top 3, as far as my teammates and Powerhouse went, was always Shane Faulkner. He was a big force to be reckoned with when it came to the light heavyweight division, and I think between him and the military leave and deployment and all that stuff, right. I thought I think it kind of held him back a little bit. But then you had Jason Palacios, man. He fought in the IFL. Fought overseas. He was a really good teammate, a really good mentor for myself, and training partner, man. So I'm surprised, he didn't get a shot. As far as like done really well in those divisions. But 150. Of course, I think that when I got the closest to it was probably Adam Schindler.
Right.
His wrestling was just crazy stupid. But he's shooting on me that quick. But yeah, I mean, I know he fought for Strikeforce and Bellator, and he did a few things here. And between those 3 guys, man, get into the UFC. And seeing some of the quality now that they're taking in, I'm just like, you guys could have done it.
Oh, no doubt. You see, and that was one of my next questions, man, because not saying that in the UFC there's a lot of guys, but compared to a lot of the guys that were coming off, man, I mean, it's taken about like 10 years. Like for example, CJ Vergara just got picked up. Yeah. And he started about 8-10 years ago, and it's taken him this long for him to get an opportunity, man. But my take on that is that too little, too late, because they're already banged up. They've got injuries. They've got things going on. But
a little bit older, and with CJ, man, shoot, man, yeah, I remember seeing him over at Texas MMA Fight Gear Club, on MOBA, and just seeing this little kid just kind of roll clean cut, kind of innocent looking, if anything. But I think he should have been called up a lot sooner. I think he a lot of work. I know he was it a knee injury,
right. He's got injuries,
back, so but I think he's one of the guys, man, that just he should have been picked up way sooner than what he is. I'm glad he's in there now.
Of course.
I think he should have been flat out given a contract even before dancing, or was it Dana White contender series?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think he should have been one of those guys. Okay, hey, just pick him up. And I don't think he's really backed out from any challenge, and just a quality fighter.
I mean, we talked about him earlier, man. I'm Alex Hernandez, of course, Ohana Northeast. But the same thing, the guy just had a victory, man. Congratulations, Alex. But him, like Adam Schindler, man, come from wrestling background, so of course they're freaking beasts, dude. Coming in there, I mean, we talked about the fighter being a total package, having the charisma, work ethic. But I mean, I don't want to say it's easier for them, but I mean, when you first started, for example, what were you doing sports wise?
Well, let me see. I was doing a lot more football, baseball, basketball. I did get into wrestling a little bit in the high school, but it wasn't anything like probably the level of what Hernandez and Schindler were doing. It was just more. I just needed to do something in between football. Yeah, hey, coach, I'm not going home yet. You mind if I hang out? Yeah, sure. Get on, take your shoes off, and let's go sprawl on somebody. Like, all right, So, but yeah, I mean, it was more traditional sports, football, which was something I liked a lot more. Played that through middle school and high school. So.
For sure, man. And of course, I mean, conditioning wise, those are always good. I mean, compared to wrestling, of course, wrestling is a lot more hands on. So once they get in the MMA, they kind of have a little bit more experience.
Yeah, and the mental toughness aspect of it, man. The 2 minute round, 3 minute rounds, 1 minute rest, and then just go right back at it, and the explosiveness that those guys have, man, it's just unmatched in any other sport. I mean, with football, 5 seconds of really
right.
intense, and then it's like 45 seconds of rest, and so you can really mess with somebody's mind, if you know how to maintain that pace and really start pushing it on them. You can see them kind of crumble.
No, for sure, man. You see, and one of the things, like, people would always ask me, like, oh, what was your favorite move, and I would always tell them cardio. Yeah. My cardio, I mean, I like to push the guys so much that they get tired, and I would just get whatever I wanted, man. But I mean, that's key, I mean, especially if you want to be a fighter, you want to be at that level. I mean, if you gas out, then lights out.
No, definitely, man. I remember even doing that with some of the few guys, man. A few times in practice, we would have these 5 minute rounds, and man, I remember 22-minute round or 22 rounds are already in. Right. And I'm looking, and I see my teammates on the side, and I'm like, hey, all right, you up next, and it's like, Aaron, how are you still going? And I'm just like, well, I'm always in here.
Oh, no, for sure, man. You see, and that's one of the things, like, I mean, going back to me training Rango Valetudo, man, was the guys would come in, and he would put us through a ringer. I mean, he'd have us doing squats, doing duck walk, anything that nobody wanted to do. People would show up late, of course, not to do them. But I would always show up early, man, just because of that. Because I wanted, if you can do a full workout and then start training, then that's when you kind of have it, right? I mean, if somebody comes in, I want to fight, okay, 30, 40 minutes of calisthenics, and we'll see where you're at.
Yeah, no, that's also, man, that adrenaline dump that you get. My first fight, I remember my hands, I was like, man, my hands have never felt this heavy before. Like, what? I got to pick them up, and it's a real thing, man. Especially for me, the first time, I think I was at Renegades. It was 500 people. I don't know. It was quite a bit.
Right,
and,
right.
It was nuts. And then the cool thing about it was Tito Ortiz was actually in the audience.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so,
man.
like, knowing that, I was like, oh man, I'll set up seeing that guy, on DVDs or whatever. I'm like, and I'm going to fight in front of him. And then on top of that, I'm excited, I'm nervous, and you go out there and your cardio's not what you think it is.
And that's one of the things about what I told fighters coming up, or anybody, because of course I always tell them, do a jiu-jitsu tournament, get used to the atmosphere, get used to people watching you, because I mean, when you're in there, everybody's yelling, you got the cameras, you got the lights, so if you're not mentally ready, I mean, it'll kill you, man.
Get that gun shy, man. You'll be kind of hesitant on everything. So yeah, you really want to practice.
Right. No, yeah, because it's a real thing, Yeah. I mean, there's a few fighters that I've talked to, man, and one of them, he's actually in the UFC with Jeff Neal. And interview, I actually read it. Somebody had asked him, but he basically, the first fight he ever went to was the one that he fought in. Like, he had never been to an MMA fight, and I'm thinking, dude, that's freaking crazy, because you kind of want to do that, but I mean, for him, it worked out. He wasn't nervous, went in there, took care of business.
You don't know what to expect, right?
Exactly, man.
Sometimes that ignorance is bliss.
Oh, exactly. You see, and so it worked out for him. But I mean, the guy's got a fight coming up, so I got to bring that up, man. December 11th. Best of luck, man. Welterweight division. So we'll be talking about that later.
Yeah.
No, and let me ask you, bro. Now, when it came to training, I mean, of course, you used to do everything from boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Was there something that you wish, like now, like, man, you know what, I should have done this maybe to help you throughout your career?
Let me see, man. I probably would have done more wrestling. I probably would have done a lot more wrestling, and again, just pushing the pace on people and being able to get in. I mean, when you duck underneath someone's punches and getting close to them, you start working that that body clinch, taking them down, and start moving. I think have an edge when it comes to combative sports. So yeah, so I think I probably would have focused a little bit more on my wrestling.
And then, of course, I mean, having Adam Schindler there to test you, that was a...
Dude, I used to hate that. Adam would, we'd do wrestling practice or whatever, and he's just taking me down just every single time. And I was like, you know what, dude, let's put the gloves on. Let's see where we're at now.
You see, but I mean, obviously that was good for your your training, right? I mean, when you came down to fight.
Oh yeah, no, it always was. It was great working with Adam. Going back and forth. I remember the first time I think he had gone to Thailand, and so when he came back, that was like the first thing I wanted to do. I was like, "Come on, let's stand up, and we'll go from there." I'm gonna see what you got, and we went back and forth, and then on top of that, now he's mixing in his wrestling with his Thai boxing, and at that point, it's like, okay, all right, I get it. I don't stand a chance now.
No, but I mean, obviously stuff like that is good for the gym, right? Because he comes in with experience.
Oh yeah, it always helps out when you have guys that come in, with different training, and it's like, hey, here you go, guys, this is what I brought back, and some of the things that he was doing after practices was catching on. So
right.
It was good, man. It was good.
You see, and let me say this, because I remember going to class, of course, once again with Rango Valetudo, man. Abu Dhabi was going on, and I had gotten a copy of the Abu Dhabi trials, the actual tournament.
Okay, yeah.
And watching it, I was like, damn, I picked up a couple of new moves, man. So when I went to the gym, I was throwing them out there, and they were working. So, and I remember when I was rolling with Mike Rangel, and he shot in, and I gave him my leg. So as soon as he grabbed it, I turned around, did a roll, and almost went for the Kimura. I did, but I didn't catch it. But it caught him off guard, and he was like, "Oh, that was good. Where'd you get it?" So and that's kind of with him, he was always good with cross training. He would always like, "Man, it's your money. Go do train with whatever you want." Mm-hmm. So I like that from the guy. Yeah. So I did. I used to train in a lot of different gyms, different wherever I was invited, man, because a lot of people turned me away. But it was good, man. I mean, I wish I would have cross trained more. I mean, of course, for me, work was what killed it. I started working different hours, different shifts. But it's something that I will always take with me, man. And kind of like what you said earlier, man. I mean, what you learned through the years of jiu-jitsu and MMA, I mean, you kind of use now at work.
Yeah, I really do. It's even on a fight podcast, man. I'm always talking about work. It always happens. Yeah, no, man. Jamie had told me, one time, he's like, as you do jiu-jitsu more and more, and you start understanding things and you learn it, he's like, you're going to see that it applies to just about everything else. And I was just like, I was probably like 20 or so, 21. And I was like, yeah, whatever, Jamie. Like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And sure enough, now I'm, a trainer at my work. And it's just like, hey, guys, we got to go back to the basics. What are the basics? And, it's just like, okay, this is what we got to practice on. This is what we got to work on. And trying to simplify things. And, yeah, it really has, come back around. I'll take a step back, and I'm just like, son of a bitch, Yeah, damn it, Jamie. Yeah.
But you see, those are lessons in life that you learn. I mean, you can't just, but I mean, the fact that you went through it, now I'm pretty sure some of your coworkers, not all of them, but I mean, they're going to pick them up and share them themselves, man. So it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
Now, let me ask you, bro. I mean, the fact that you came in here, man, I do thank you, bro. I mean, I appreciate this a lot. Hopefully we'll have you back again.
I'm down, man. Whatever, but next time you bring the tacos.
Yeah, man. I'll bring food next time, because I'm already getting hungry, man. But Aaron, man, I do thank you, bro. Yeah. Thank you for coming by. Anybody you want to thank out there, bro?
Man, shoot. Off the bat, man. Yeah, just my wife giving me the time to come out today. I know she's at the house with the little one, so hopefully he's not running around and giving her problems. But
he's tired by the time you get home.
Yeah, hopefully, right? So I can go work out. But yeah, man, shout out to my little brother Joel, who's doing his thing with the fire department, and Instagram going on, and so follow him. And then, of course, the guys that have been pretty consistent. And every time I see them, online, I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know what? I got to not be a piece of shit today. Let me go get my workout in again with Adam Schindler and CVJ, I'm sorry, Clemente, over there in Florida. So, yeah, thank y'all guys, man. And all I got, man.
Not a problem, man. Thank you once again, bro. Till next time, everybody out there, this is Spider, the Fight Card Podcast. And as always, follow up.